Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mack and welcome to the fifth grade webinar for our second semester of this school year. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we actually get started, I do want to go ahead and walk you through the technology and then let you know who is in the room with us. So with the technology on your device, you'll see Mr. Nama has done a great job of putting together this screen, which kind of walks you through the different options that you have if you're using an iPad or a tablet, or if you're on a desktop, you'll see those different options. Also, just a reminder that we will moderate questions at the end of the webinar. So as you're going through the webinar, you can go ahead and type in your question if you would like. And then once the webinar is over, I will read those questions out. I don't want you to forget if you have a question. So as soon as it pops into your head, you can go ahead and type it into the chat box. And just know that we will not get to those questions until we actually get through the information that we are sharing with you this afternoon. And to let you know who is in the room with us today, Mrs. DeWitt, Mrs. Ullman. I'm still practicing their last names, just so you guys know. Mr. Camp, and also Mr. Nama, who is managing the technology piece for us as well. Also, if you do have any technology questions throughout the webinar related to what the students are covering, Mr. Nama and I are happy to talk you through those as well. He was a great resource for the third grade webinar done back in December. So we definitely can leverage his brain power in the room as well. So a reminder that we are recording this webinar. So you can go back later and watch it as many times as you want to. I'm sure it's a nice lull you to sleep in the evening if you would like that. I will send out the link once Mr. Nama gets it uploaded to YouTube. And just know that you won't receive that until I have all the links from all the grade levels, and then I'm going to push it out at one time via the school webpage. So without further ado, we're going to jump in with the fifth grade team.
Hello, this is Mr. Camp. We're excited to start our second semester. This semester we have Cookie Company and our trip to Skidaway Island, which are both very, very fun. The kids are extremely excited about them usually. We will continue with Wordly Wise in our home rooms. We will give tests every 2 weeks or so. We will also continue our daily journals in language arts. For the first 5 minutes of class, we journal and we get to share, the students get to share every Friday. Please ask your child to see their journal sometime and look through it if you want. It's there's some really good writing in there. The book report for this month is a biography or autobiography. The report is due February 12th. We'll be working on it some in class. I hope to give them enough time to finish the whole thing in class. If not, they will need to finish a little bit of it at home. I'm asking that they have their book approved by me by next Tuesday. That's really just so that I know that they've got a book and they don't wait too long to get going on it. We'll also be reading The K this semester before we go to Skidaway. It's a great book. There will be guided reading questions for each chapter listed under the topics page of the Language Arts website. Our book report for next month, February, will be a graphic novel. We will do a storyboard in class, and there will be storyboard requirements under the topics page on the website as well. For Cookie Company, there will be a language arts component, which we will be advertising, making posters that go around the school. They will be doing persuasive writing, writing slogans, logos. They will also be writing an ad, which they will make a video of to show the school, and they will be writing ads for morning announcements as well. On the Skidaway field trip, they will be given a journal, which they will keep with them at all times. The classes that they go to and the field work that they do, they will be asked to take notes, write kind of a personal narrative of kind of what they've been doing each day at the end of the day, what they're thinking about, what they've learned, and different science terminology. And that will be due when we get back on April 7th, the week after we get back, excuse me. The last book report of elementary school is the Georgia Book Award books. I'll give them a list of the last few years of Georgia Book Award nominees, and they read one of those books, and then we have an in-class essay on the last week of school.
Hi, this is Julianne Ullman. We are going to be, in math, we're going to continue with the same Go Math program. We'll still have our weekly Monday quizzes and Tuesday time test, in addition to our classwork and our chapter test. The homework is assigned daily. It's practice and it's graded on effort. But please let me know if your child is struggling so that we can find some time to work together. We have our test on Wednesday over chapter 5, which is dividing decimals. And then we're going to move into volume 2 later this semester, which we'll be covering adding and subtracting with fractions, multiplying with fractions, dividing with fractions, as well as some geometry and measurement. This is the Think Central website that goes along with our Go Math program. Each child has a username and a login. And I upload some personal trainers every chapter, which is additional help if they need it. They can sign on, click on the things to do right there, the green things to do button, and that will list all the personal trainers. And if they have a difficult time with any concept, there's some extra help there for them.
And this is Dr. Mack. I'm going to jump in and just remind you of some additional resources that are a part of this Go Math online. I know many of you have been using this for a couple of years now, but I think it merits a little bit of a reminder of what you also have access to with this. And if you look over to the right, you see the image there that shows you a few of the options. The few that I do want to point out to you are the video on the spot tutorials. Those are wonderful for you to actually see how things have been taught in the classroom. So if you want to reinforce or support your child at home with a particular skill or objective, those video tutorials are a great resource for you. Also, you have the Mega Math, which those are game formats that can also reinforce and support what Julianne is doing in the classroom. There are some additional resources in there, but I just wanted to point those two out to you.
Hi parents, this is Whitney DeWitt. In social studies, we are going to continue with the same format as we had first semester, with class discussions, group work, partner work, tests, and also research projects. I like to switch up tests to research projects every other unit. And right now we are working on the election process. And on Wednesday, we'll start with our president project. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 unit. But tomorrow we do have a quiz, and I've given students a very big hint that tomorrow our quiz is going to be, they are allowed to use their notebooks. So I'm hoping that everyone picked up on that hint to bring their notebooks tomorrow. So we will have a quiz tomorrow on the election process, and then we'll start the president project on Wednesday. Each student will be picking a president to research, and then students will have a presentation at the end of the project. And then we'll move into Cookie Company before spring break, and we'll study the economics and running a business with Cookie Company and social studies. And then after spring break, we will move into Jazz Age and Great Depression, and then World War II, the Civil Rights Movement, and then America Today. Late work policy. We are going to continue with study hall and a class responsibility point. Just like what we did first semester. So if a student does not have their homework, they will go to study hall, which is during recess time, and they also will take a point. New this semester, because we are increasing the expectations and we want to prepare students for middle school, they will now lose points. So 10 points a day for turning in a late assignment. And after 2 weeks, if we do not receive that assignment, students will receive a 0. And this will be consistent in all 3 classes for this semester. Cookie Company. So like Mr. Camp said, this is a highlight. Students love Cookie Company. We are going to begin on Thursday, February 13th. And this is 5th grade service projects for UGA Marine Institute at Skidaway Island. And all the money we raise goes to Skidaway Island. We are going to ask for support with supplies and cooking equipment. And also, we will need a parent from each group to help us on Thursday, February 27th, in mixing the cookie dough and also taking home the cookie dough and baking it. We really appreciate your help. Each group will need a volunteer, and we are going to send home more information in your Friday folders on January 31st. So we'll send home a sign-up sheet. Also, as we start to make our cookie company groups, if you know your child will not be here Friday, our selling day, please let us know, because we want to make sure there are people here to sell the cookies from each group on that Friday. So if you're leaving early for spring break, please let us know as we're making our groups.
Okay, this is Dr. Mack. I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about this Getaway Island trip. As some of you know, 5th grade is the first year that we take students off campus for a multi-night trip away from school. And you'll see on here that we do have a mandatory parent meeting scheduled for Friday, March the 20th at 8:30 in the morning. Even if you have a child who has already been to Skidaway, your child has an older sibling who's already been, we still need at least one parent to attend that parent meeting as we share information about the trip and ensure that you know everything that you need to have in preparation for the trip. We will leave on Wednesday early. Actually, the buses pull out at 7 o'clock on the dot in the morning on Wednesday, April the 1st. We return late Friday, April 3rd. Depending on traffic, we always seem to get stuck coming up 75 at Eagles Landing for whatever reason. We get there and then we figure out there really was nothing ever there on 75. And you guys who travel that corridor would understand what I'm talking about. So our target return date on Friday, April 3rd is around 8:45 or 9 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes we can push as late as 9:30 depending on traffic. And this truly is a highlight of 5th grade, and it's a culmination of not only what they've been doing in science with Ms. Tant, as I know she's already started the oceanography unit with them, but also the curricular connections in the other core academic classes as well.
Oh, so here are some important dates for you to know about this semester. This Friday, we're going on our field trip to the ASO. On the 21st, we'll see you at parent-teacher conferences. The 13th through the 28th, like we mentioned, is the Cookie Company. March 20th is the Skidaway parent meeting that one parent must attend. March 27th is a field trip to go see a French play. April 1st through the 3rd is our Skidaway trip. April 20th through April 23rd is ERB testing. May 13th is the 5th grade crossing of the Green, which is another big deal. May 14th is a field trip to the Jimmy Carter Center. And then May 5th is the first 5th grade social.
And I'm going to jump in here and talk a little bit about STEAM night. So just to go ahead and put this on your calendar, April 30th from 6:30 to 7:30 in the evening. The 4th and 5th grade students will have complete run of the middle school building because middle school will be away on their spring trips. But for many of you who've had children who have gone through this, it's a beautiful evening culminating in all the work that the 4th and 5th graders have been doing on their STEAM night projects. In fact, when we return from spring break is when Ms. Tant will kick that off with the 4th and 5th graders, and it will run for about 6 weeks, give or take a few days for them to work on those. All of their STEAM projects, the work is done at school. Occasionally, your child may ask to stay after school to work in an after-school session to work with his or her group. But everything, our expectation is it's done here on site. Very little to none should be done at home. It is a beautiful evening, and we hope many of you are able to come that evening. And so now we get to the part of our webinar where we will start taking questions. I do see that we already have a question in here, so I'll read that out in just a second. But just a reminder to parents who are participating, the way that you can submit a question is through that chat box. You just type it in, and it'll actually come to me. And then I will read it out, and then one of us will take that question for you. And I'm actually going to take the first question, my friends. The first question is, are any parent chaperones needed for the trip? And I'm assuming that's the Skidaway trip. And no, no parent chaperones. It's all faculty, staff, and administrators who go out of town with our students. Also, local field trips, we only use faculty and staff as well as administrators on those trips as well. So it's that next level of independence for our students. In fact, when they cross over the bridge into elementary school, that's when parent chaperones are no longer used. And so thank you. I'm glad you asked that question. And then here's a question about math for you, Julianne. So, hi, are the kids using the, let me scroll up quick. Are the kids using the online Go Math component at all in class? The reason I ask is that I want to know if I ask my son about using the Go Math online to look at some practice lessons, he should know where this is, be familiar with it, etc. Is that correct?
So we don't always use it in class. When we are reviewing for a test, sometimes kids will sign on and do the personal trainers while they are in class. Usually they are for extra support outside of class. They should know their username and password by now, but I have a list that I can make sure they get that. What was that? What else was the second part?
Just know how to get to it.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a link on my webpage, on my math webpage. There's a Go Math link, and they click on that, and it takes them right to the sign-in page.
And Chris, Leslie Welty's asking if you can back up to the slide that has the dates on it. She'd like to write those down. Right, Leslie, I'm hoping that's the slide you were asking about. If not, just put it in the chat screen and we'll see what we can find. What?
No, how students are informed they are late for an assignment, since they will now get minus 10 points, will parents also be informed?
How are you guys going to inform the students if they're late on an assignment?
So we will continue, like I said, with study hall and the yellow sheets that students have to fill out when they're missing an assignment that will go home in Friday folders. If students do not have it by the second day, third day, we will send emails and let you know that we're missing this and it should be turned in, because I think especially at first with the 10-point deduction, I'm hoping this, just one day and we've got it fixed, but
well, and with the study hall option, they usually
get it done
right after that one day.
Yes.
And Chris, I'm seeing some that you're seeing some things that I'm not. So let me just go ahead and read what Nina has written. Hi, this is great. Thank you so much. I was curious if the kids will be tested on the U.S. state map this year. I remember that being a big deal when I was in 5th grade.
Yes, we will look at the state maps during America Today, the very end of social studies in 5th grade. There's not going to be a full unit on states, the map, but we will have fun activities that incorporate the map, and students will get to learn the capitals and states, and but there's no official unit. That'll be more towards the end of 5th grade with America Today.
All right, and then there's a question from Allison Coulter. It's asking, do parents attend the Crossing the Green also as a social along the lines of a dance? These are great questions, Allison. So Crossing of the Green, it is somewhat of a low-key event, but yet it's a big deal to the 5th graders, and I'll be quite honest, it's a big deal to me too. Parents absolutely can actually come and watch that. I always tell parents that if you want to see it, because it's so quick, that you want to stand on the bridge that's overlooking the small recess playing field that's between the elementary and middle school building, because that's where we will officially cross the green and then walk them through the middle school building. So basically the way that works every year is we start on the 5th grade hall, and our 7th grade buddies actually pair up with their 5th grade buddies, and they're the ones that also escort them over to symbolically enter the middle school building. I lead that line. The 5th grade teachers are also with them. The 7th grade teachers are with us as well. We will stop a little bit on the green so that parents can say hi, take pictures, cry like I do. And then I officially symbolically hand them over to Mr. Schaefer, who then takes them into the middle school building. And then we walk over, given the weather's great, to the soccer field where the 5th and 7th graders just have a little bit of time to spend together. Once we cross the green and we go into the middle school building, that's when parents leave. You guys don't join us on the field. That's just a quick time for the 5th and 7th graders to spend together. But it's a beautiful thing, even though it's really quick. And yes, parents are absolutely invited to come and watch that. And then with the social, yes, it is kind of like a dance. It's a 1 hour introduction to that before we actually move them into middle school, where it's a little bit longer. And it's an entire middle school, not just the 5th grade. So it'll be from 6 to 7. We do feed them pizza, give them a little bit to eat. We have a DJ who's playing appropriate songs for 5th graders, and they have the entire gym to play or socialize or dance. Yes, Mr. Nama's motioning that boys and girls tend to segregate, which is kind of fun to watch. And the 5th grade teachers and I actually chaperone that as well. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal to them. And let's see. Nina said thank you. Allison said she loves it. Thanks so much. Chris, do you see anything that we haven't covered?
Nope.
So that's going to wrap it up for our 5th grade webinar. We truly, truly appreciate you guys taking time to join us for this. I would love feedback on this format. We shifted a couple of years ago doing a webinar second semester to reach out to you guys in a way that doesn't require you to physically be on campus, because we know you have a lot going on in your life, and we're hoping that if we do a webinar second semester, just to give you a heads up of what's happening second semester, that you can book that or schedule that in to your meeting time or your scheduled time to where it's more convenient for you. But would love feedback on it. And if you have any other questions once we sign off, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of us. We are so happy to continue to answer questions for you. Andy Peters just wrote in, because I think these are great things to share with you guys. First, we'll start with Susan. She said, great session. Thanks so much for all you do. Stephanie says, thank you, very helpful. And then Andy says, can't thank you enough for the communication. SMES is the best. The webinar helps working parents so much, and I appreciate SMES using technology to make life easier. And Allison said ditto what Andy just said. So awesome. Thank you for the feedback. If there's anything you feel like we can do better, please reach out to me so I know what we need to shift or change for the future. You guys have a great, great, great afternoon, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.